Hey YouTube, here's Heiko. Today we are not in my garage, but we're in front of my house. And I want to make a new video. It's not going to be a how-to or really explaining every step of the project that I'm currently working on, but it's more like a final conclusion, taking you along, telling you what I did. So the problem that I facing here with my house is this house is 45 years old, barely insulated, and everyone is telling you, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that to make your house more efficient. So people start piling up insulation in their attic, and then they're piling up insulation in their crawl space to make the house more efficient, even though the outside walls are built out of 2x4s, and half of the insulation that was installed in the wall cavities is probably already collapsed. So making a 45-year-old house really efficient is only possible with a major surgery. So you have to add insulation on the outside of the house, towards the to the outside surface, so to speak. So take the siding off, and then put zip sheathing, and then insulation as a blanket around the house, because the wall cavities of a 2x4 wall just doesn't have the space to really pile up some R value. And then back in those days, they used huge headers above each window and each door. So there's probably a 4x12 above each window, which is a huge thermal bridging area where you can't insulate the house at all, because it's just a piece of wood. So I've been watching a lot of videos. I like uh, Matt Reisinger's channel, the Build Show, a lot. He explains really the latest and greatest, newest techniques in building technology. Of course, it always comes with a price tag. If you are able to spend that kind of money to turn your house into a zero energy house, so yeah, you can do a lot of things if you have the money for it. And then there is the Essential Craftsman um, that I watch. He shows pretty much the current standard of building techniques, how someone would build a normal, affordable house these days. And then the Crawlspace Ninja. In the Crawlspace Ninja, he deals with a lot of those retrofits, aftermarket, after the fact encapsulations of crawl spaces, air sealing, or yeah, air sealing of a attic, adding insulation and those kind of things. And that's what I'm doing to my house, because this is really the only thing that I currently can do. If we ever have to put new siding on this house, we might consider adding insulation as a blanket on the outside of the house. But in the meantime, we're just working on the crawl space in the attic. Everything is done DIY. I just, probably could afford hiring someone for that, but if you're a handy person, it would be kind of silly to spend money for labor costs to have someone else do it. And then what my experience has shown in the past, I usually end up not being happy with the quality of craftsmanship or how people finish the job, because most people that I hire, they would just want to get it done, be done with it as quickly as they can so they can move on to the next job. And yeah, therefore I just take my own time. My job allows for it. And now we're gonna go into the crawl space, and I show you, I'm like about 90% done down there. I just want to show you what I did, what that looks like, roughly give you a cost estimate. So my house here is a 2,700 square foot house, which has about 1,200 square feet of garage underneath. So it's kind of built into the hill. Living space is all one level, and then the garage is underneath. And the other half, 1,500 square feet roughly, is a crawl space. So I can't really insulate my garage, at least not that much, because if you have three large garage doors, that is going to be the weak spot there. You can add some insulation to a garage door, but how much does that really make a difference? I might do it. I might do it just for sake of saying I did it. But the 1,500 square feet of crawl space is definitely something that you can work on. And let's go down there now. All right, guys, now we're down in my messy garage. Everything is full with little white dust from those styrofoam insulation boards. You're going to see them in the crawl space as well. They are faced on both sides. One has a shiny side and one has just a white side with all the explanations on it, what it is used for, what it's rated for. If I'm not completely mistaken, the 2-inch version here bought at Home Depot has a R value of 8, which is not the greatest, but it's a cost factor. You know, you can buy more expensive insulation boards like this, similar to this, that are twice the price. This is a 4x8 sheet, costs around 23 bucks, I think. So that's what I used. You see the leftovers, cutoffs. You know, I have done most of the straight cuts here with my bandsaw, pretty convenient. Difficulty I had was my entrance door to my crawl space. It's about 4 feet from that corner to that corner. The board is also 4 feet, so it does not quite fit. But luckily, my foundation walls in the crawl space are not exactly 4 feet tall. So I always had to cut off a strip. That's why I have so many pieces lying over here. So I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I used up 12 boards altogether so far. I'm not quite done yet. Then I also will need a lot of this stuff. Spray foam. I have one of those spray guns where you can buy cans. Yeah, this is hanging up there. Spray gun that you just screw the can on. This time I just bought the ones that have the straw on it, so the throwaway version. The other one is more convenient if you do small projects and you want to save the can. But yeah, so some of that, and then you need lots of Tapcon screws. Tapcon screws are the type that you can screw right into masonry. So let's go into the crawl space, into the dungeon. It's kind of messy in here, but my tools are still lying around everywhere, but yeah, we're almost done. The dust has settled since I worked here yesterday. So you see a lot of block wall here. These are all not outside walls. This is the only section I haven't done. See the pockets in between the floor joist? They need a piece of foam board, and then I might, this is kind of a slope here, this is dirt under here, I might put some more insulation up there, but we're not there yet. So let me show you what I've done. Bear with kids and dog noise in the background. They are right above us. So here is what we call the sunken room. The floor level is a little lower than the rest of the crawl space, so I only had to do the outside wall. Artec 2-inch foam board, held on with no, that's the wrong one. I used 3 3/4-inch screws, 3/16. No, I think they were bigger. Let's see, where's the box? Oh, this is now the second box that I had to buy. 1/4-inch by 4. And then big fender washers. And I think I used 8 of those screws per board. So there's another section outside wall. And then here's another room in my crawl space. And yeah, I can show you around a little bit. This is the most convenient section. Let me zoom out a little bit. So now you can see the whole beauty of this. Really simple. I used some polyurethane construction adhesive on the back side of this board. I put the silver side to the wall. Doesn't make a difference. You can decide either way. I just like the lighter color towards the room. You can see the screws that I put in. And then I kind of just came up with a layout how I would bolt this to the wall or screw this to the wall. And wherever there's a screw, there's a circle of construction adhesive behind it too. Then above us, the floor joist and the bottom of the floor decking. And someone is stomping on the ground up there constantly. You see those, sorry, short interruption there. So in between the floor joist, that is the rim joist right there, right there. That's a 2x12. Then a little bit of siding on the outside, and then that's it. There's no insulation whatsoever. So I used the same 2-inch foam board, cut out pieces that are about 11 by 14 inches. Used the bandsaw, did that all the way around. Then on the side of the house that runs parallel to the floor joist, you just have long pieces wherever there are penetrations where pipes go outside. Here in this case, this is my radon mitigation pipe going out the house through the rim joist. I will have to add some spray foam insulation. So everywhere is this type of foam board now. Put it against the rim joist. And you saw the cans of spray foam. So now I will spray foam just the edges of each foam board piece to air seal it at the same time. So I'm adding a layer of insulation and air seal it at the same time. All right, let's walk over to the other room. Here's another section. Again, rim joist installation. I still need to do spray foam here. See a lot of old spray foam stuff that I pulled off. There was already some attempts of air sealing going on here down in the crawl space, but that was in the way of my foam board, so I peeled it all off, pulled it down, especially here in this section. A lot of those, here's again a slope in my crawl space. You can see all those pockets up there in between the floor joists. That's where all this old insulation foam stuff came out. Yeah, I'm just trying to add as much insulation. There's still a piece of outside wall in here under the stairs that still needs to be covered up with that Artec foam board. At the top of the foam board, I'm always leaving 2 inches. That is supposedly, if you have to have a termite inspection done, they need a piece of wall to see if the termites build mud tunnels to get to the wood, just for inspection purposes. So the insulation layer is definitely not perfect. This house here used to have fiberglass insulation in between the floor joists, but the fiberglass insulation down here over the years definitely has turned into a mouse highway. So they built nests into that stuff. They poop all over the place. So the entire fiberglass insulation here in this house was absolutely filthy, contaminated with rodent droppings. So I pulled it all out. That's probably in the landfill now. And because I pretty much, by doing that, turned my crawl space into an uninsulated crawl space, I started doing that. Really simple. It just takes a little bit of time to, make the pieces fit. Had to do some cutouts around a girder here. This section there is actually not outside wall. This is part of the foundation for a fireplace that we have up in the living room. You can see there's already some spray foaming going on, which is not really helpful in that place there. It pretty much keeps you from seeing the mud sill. And the mud sill is the part that gets inspected in those termite inspections. So anyways, this Artec board supposedly is moisture resistant, insect and mold resistant. It's adaptable, cuts and handles easily. That's correct. Makes a little bit of white dust. So when I'm done with all the installation down here, I will come in here, clean up everything first with a broom and then with a vacuum cleaner to leave behind a really nice looking clean crawl space. The floor here, this is just I think it's 8 mil or 10 mil plastic sheathing that's completely sealed. It's glued against the foundation wall. Under there is perforated pipe right there, runs right there. And at the end of that pipe is a suction fan that sucks radon gases or soil gases out from underneath the plastic. So that's part of the radon mitigation system. And yeah, so that's already in here. That's pretty clean and nice. And it doesn't smell musty or nasty down here. And I'm in Western Nevada. We have really low humidity all year round, pretty much even after a rainstorm. I'm monitoring moisture down in my crawl space. Here, let me take you over to one of those thermometers real quick. So here is my little crawl space thermometer and hygrometer. It measures temperature and humidity. I have 3 in the crawl space in different places, and I'm just monitoring. Mold growth usually doesn't start until you get way up in the humidity, like 70% or higher. Don't quote me on that. We here pretty much year-round stay below 40%. So right now we have a humidity down here of 25%. And as long as you don't have any water ingress in your crawl space by a rainstorm, by flooding, this pretty much stays like this all year round. And therefore, there's really no need to have this crawl space ventilated. That's why, even though it might not be in accordance to Nevada building code, I closed up all my crawl space vents. I just pretty much put a foam board on top of it. I foamed shut the opening from the outside. And yeah, so absolutely non-vented. So you could say this is part of the insulated envelope, the air-conditioned envelope of the house. Even though I do not have any air-conditioned air going into my crawl space non-vented. I just decided to do that. The humidity definitely supports that. I don't have any mold issues down here. Now I don't have any rodent issues anymore because I closed all the entry points. I foamed shut everything that looked like a pathway for rodents. And now we're adding all this nice insulation to it. The nice plastic was already here. Radon mitigation was done. And so I'm just going to keep it that way. Next owner that has to get a building inspection done has to deal with the consequences. Sorry about that. But yeah, again, closing this all up, foaming around those boards, that's going to be the next step or one of the next steps. And then we're already done with this. You know, I work on it 2-3 hours at a time. Not in a hurry. I just want to get it done eventually. It's not hard work. It's just, you know, you're constantly on your knees and your hands down here. It's 4 feet tall, the crawl space is. Something that someone that has a few hand tools. So I have a cordless impact drill. No, not an impact drill. Of course, I have a cordless impact driver, but I have a, what is it called? A hammer drill. So I can drill into the block wall and use those Tapcon screws. So that helps. And then my bandsaw definitely made a big difference. You can also cut this stuff with a knife, but if you really want some straight cuts, I would probably rather use a jigsaw. The jigsaw creates a little bit more mess, but you can cut straight along a line that you mark on it. And yeah, and then some construction adhesive on the back side and the screws. So relatively inexpensive, I think. So far I'm about $200 into this, and this is about how much I'm going to be spending. Maybe a couple more cans of spray foam. We'll see if my 6 cans that I bought are going to be enough. I doubt it. Definitely a nice little DIY project. I would recommend to wear a respirator in your crawl space while you're working down here. You don't know what kind of dust and nastiness is flying around. Like I said, I found a lot of rodent droppings. I want to say I probably have 90% of that removed just by pulling out the fiberglass insulation. I've vacuumed down here multiple times with a HEPA filter equipped shop vacuum. And yeah, I don't get any soil gases in here either because of my radon mitigation. So yeah, besides the fine dust from those boards, it's pretty clean down here. So yeah, this is the project that I've been working on. I just wanted to give you that quick overview. I wanted to give a shout out to the Build Show, to Essential Craftsmen, and also to the Crawlspace Ninja, who with their knowledge and wisdom have helped me along in this project here and other projects as well. So if you guys like this quick little overview, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.